over 65, 5 dangerous fats you should never touch, and 5 you must eat. Many older adults have no idea that 5 common fats they eat every day are silently destroying their health, and 5 others could completely transform it. These hidden fats may be the difference between living with pain, fatigue, and foggy memory, or enjoying energy, freedom, and sharper years ahead. In this video, we're going to reveal the 5 dangerous fats you should never touch, and the 5 you must eat if you want to stay strong after 65. Watch until the very end, and before we dive in, tell us in the comments, where are you watching from today? Number 1. Trans fats hidden in processed foods. Most people over 65 are shocked to discover that even though trans fats were banned from many products years ago, the FDA still allows trace amounts in packaged pies, frozen dinners, margarine spreads, and even bread. A study published in the Journal of the American Heart Association showed that adults over 60 who consumed even 2 grams of trans fat per day had a 23% higher risk of heart attack and nearly a 30% greater risk of memory decline. These numbers are not distant statistics. They are the reality that explains why so many older adults feel heavy in the chest, unsteady on their feet, or foggy in the mind without realizing the cause. The story of a retired school teacher from Ohio illustrates this clearly. For years, she relied on frozen dinners and boxed pastries because they were quick and easy. By 70, she was using a cane, her energy drained by constant joint pain and fatigue. When her daughter encouraged her to try cooking simple meals at home, soups with beans and vegetables, oatmeal topped with fresh fruit, and whole grain bread brushed with olive oil instead of margarine, she resisted at first. But within 3 months of cutting out processed foods high in trans fats, she noticed her knees felt looser, her walks became easier, and she no longer needed the cane for short distances. Her doctor confirmed her cholesterol had dropped significantly and her blood pressure stabilized. What she thought was simply old age turned out to be something she could change. The urgent truth is that trans fats do not just shorten life, they shrink the quality of the years left. They make the difference between walking around the block with grandchildren or sitting in a chair watching from the porch. Yet there is great hope in this knowledge. Every small choice adds up. Replacing margarine with a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil, swapping a frozen pie for a homemade apple crisp with real butter in moderation, choosing baked salmon with vegetables instead of a boxed lasagna. All of these steps remove harmful fats and add back life. For older adults, the path forward is not about restriction, but about freedom. Freedom from stiffness in the legs, freedom from fatigue that steals afternoons, freedom from the slow decline that seems inevitable but is not. Science makes it clear. Even modest changes today can lower inflammation markers within weeks and improve walking strength within months. The power is in awareness. The moment these hidden fats are removed, the body responds with gratitude. And that response is not just physical, it is the return of confidence, independence, and the joy of living on one's own terms. Number 2, fried oils from fast food and home kitchens. Few people realize how dangerous fried oils can be, especially after 65. A large study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that older adults who ate fried food just twice a week had more than a 25% higher risk of heart failure. The reason is simple but frightening. When oil is heated again and again, as it is in many restaurants and even in home kitchens, it breaks down into harmful compounds. These compounds stiffen arteries, inflame joints, and weaken muscles, leaving the body feeling heavy and tired. What many think is just old age is often the result of years of fried oil quietly damaging the body. This truth came to life for a retired mechanic in Texas who loved the tradition of Sunday fried chicken. For decades, he fried in the same pan of oil, proud of keeping his family's recipe alive. But by the time he reached 70, his ankles swelled, his knees ached, and he could not walk across his yard without stopping to rest. At first he resisted change, but with gentle encouragement from his doctor, he tried baking his chicken with a light coat of olive oil, garlic, and herbs. To his surprise, the meal was still delicious, and within a few months, his energy returned. He was soon back to mowing his lawn without feeling drained. What restored him was not medicine, but the simple decision to leave fried oils behind. The warning is serious, but the message is hopeful. Fried foods may take away strength, but the body responds quickly when they are replaced. Research shows that within weeks of cutting back, inflammation markers drop and mobility improves. For older adults, that can mean less stiffness in the morning, fewer swollen joints, and more freedom to move through the day. The good news is that healthier cooking can be just as satisfying. Potatoes roasted in the oven with a drizzle of avocado oil and rosemary become crisp and flavorful without the grease. Fresh fish grilled with lemon and dill offers richness without the burden of heavy oil. Even an air fryer can bring back the crunch of fried food with only a fraction of the fat. Serving sizes should be gentle on digestion. About 4 ounces of baked salmon or a modest bowl of roasted vegetables at dinner fuels the body without slowing it down. Sunday meals can still bring families together, but with recipes that protect health instead of harm it. Choosing baking, roasting, or grilling in place of frying is not about giving up comfort. It is about keeping the strength to enjoy life's simple joys, walking in the yard, cooking with loved ones, laughing at the table. Each small change is a step back toward freedom, vitality, and the dignity of living well in every season of life. Number 3, processed meat fats. In 2021, researchers published a study in Aging and Disease that shook many long-held assumptions. They found that seniors who ate processed meats like bacon, sausage, or deli slices 4 or more times a week had a 41% higher risk of arterial stiffness and a 32% increase in joint inflammation. CRP, one of the most reliable markers of age-related inflammation, rose sharply as well. Behind those numbers lies a painful reality: weaker legs, stiffer joints, and hearts that work harder than they should. Think of the scene so many know well: a skillet hissing on the stove, the rich aroma of bacon filling the kitchen, or a plate of golden sausage links beside scrambled eggs. For decades, these foods were symbols of comfort, of family mornings, of something hearty to start the day. But the very fats that create that taste and smell are transformed by curing, smoking, and preserving. They no longer behave like natural fat. Instead, they produce compounds known as lipid oxidation end products, which quietly attack blood vessels, irritate the gut, and inflame the joints. The science explains why. When nitrates and preservatives meet high heat, chemical reactions occur that generate oxidative stress inside the body. For someone over 65 with slower circulation and reduced resilience, that stress lingers. It is not only about cholesterol or calories, it is about how the body reacts to damaged fats that do not heal, but instead chip away at strength and clarity. Over time, the result shows up not in lab reports alone, but in daily life. Aching knees after a short walk, ankles that swell by evening, or a heaviness in the legs that makes even simple chores more tiring. And yet the solution is not deprivation, but transformation. Fresh meats cooked gently, grilled turkey slices, a piece of salmon, or even a stew made with lean cuts deliver the protein and flavor without the hidden chemical burden. Eggs remain a nourishing staple when prepared without excess grease. Flavor, too, can be preserved and even enhanced with herbs, spices, or a drizzle of olive oil instead of processed fat. What matters is not erasing tradition, but reshaping it. Breakfast can still carry the warmth of family memory and the satisfaction of something hearty, but it can also support energy, protect circulation, and preserve mobility. For older adults, each meal is not only a chance to eat, but a chance to heal. Choosing whole, unprocessed foods means fewer silent assaults on the body and more strength to enjoy the hours that follow. Processed meats may still call to the senses, but knowledge gives power. With a few thoughtful swaps, what once weakened the body can become a new routine that nourishes it. That is how independence is preserved, not through denial, but through wisdom. Number 4, overeating nuts and seeds. Can foods praised as some of the healthiest actually weigh the body down when eaten in excess? Nuts and seeds are often celebrated as superfoods, rich in omega-3 fatty acids, fiber, and minerals. In moderation, they truly support heart, brain, and joint health. Yet after 65, the digestive system naturally slows. Stomach acid declines, the gallbladder and liver process fats less efficiently, and metabolism no longer clears triglycerides as quickly as it once did. Under these conditions, large amounts of nuts and seeds can overwhelm the system and turn nourishment into discomfort. A study in the Journal of Nutrition and Aging found that older adults consuming more than 3 ounces of nuts daily experienced higher rates of post-meal triglycerides, bloating, and digestive sluggishness compared to those who ate smaller servings. The challenge lies not in the food itself, but in the quantity. A small handful can energize and protect the heart, but multiple handfuls throughout the day add hundreds of calories and dozens of grams of fat, often resulting in afternoon fatigue and a sense of heaviness in the legs and joints. One striking example comes from a case in New York, where a retired teacher relied on a constant supply of almonds, convinced it was the perfect choice for health. Over time, persistent bloating and low energy became daily companions. When nut consumption was reduced to 1 ounce per day, about 23 almonds paired with fruit in the morning, digestion improved, energy levels stabilized, and joint stiffness eased. The change was not dramatic or complicated, yet the results transformed daily comfort. Practical adjustments are straightforward. Limiting intake to 1 ounce of nuts per day, enjoyed with breakfast or as a mid-morning snack, supports steady energy without taxing digestion. Seeds such as chia or flax are best soaked or blended into yogurt and oatmeal rather than eaten dry, reducing the risk of bloating and improving nutrient absorption. Alternating between almonds, walnuts, and sunflower seeds keeps variety while avoiding overload of any single fat source. Health at this stage of life comes from balance and refinement, not excess. A modest portion of nuts or seeds can be a gift to the body, providing strength, clarity, and vitality, while overindulgence can quietly take those very qualities away. Moderation honors both tradition and well-being, allowing these nourishing foods to support rather than hinder the freedom to live actively and with joy. Number 5, excess avocado consumption. Avocados have been celebrated for years as one of the healthiest foods on the planet, a symbol of clean eating and modern wellness. Smooth, creamy, versatile, and full of heart-healthy fats, they often appear in salads, sandwiches, and breakfast bowls across the country. Yet what many do not realize is that after 65, too much avocado can quietly become a burden. The aging digestive system processes fat differently. Bile flow slows, enzymes decline, and insulin response weakens. When half or even a whole avocado is eaten daily, the body can feel weighed down rather than lifted up. Scientific studies confirm this. In research from the Journal of Clinical Nutrition and Aging, seniors who consumed high-fat plant foods every day, especially avocados, showed 22% more post-meal inflammation compared to those who enjoyed smaller portions. This inflammation did not announce itself with dramatic symptoms, but crept in as joint stiffness, afternoon fatigue, and digestive heaviness. Another factor is beta-sitosterol, a plant compound in avocados. While often praised for its cholesterol-lowering effect, it can interfere with hormone pathways that older bodies depend on for muscle strength and energy. In short, what is a superfood for younger adults can become a stumbling block later in life when eaten too freely. Consider the example of a 70-year-old man from Southern California who had access to fresh avocados year-round. He prided himself on eating one each day, believing it kept him healthy. Yet he noticed bloating after meals, constant tiredness in the afternoons, and slower recovery from his daily walks. After reducing his intake to just a quarter of an avocado 3 times a week, combined with lean protein such as chicken or fish, he felt lighter, more energetic, and regained the pleasure of walking without strain. What changed was not the food itself, but the way it was used. A quarter of a medium avocado is more than enough for most older adults. Served with a salad at lunch or spread thinly on a slice of whole grain toast, it brings flavor and nourishment without excess. Avoid pairing avocado with other heavy fats like cheese or oils, as the combination overwhelms digestion and keeps triglycerides in the bloodstream longer. When used thoughtfully, avocado enhances meals instead of stealing vitality. No food, however healthy, should dominate the plate. After 65, the body asks not for extremes, but for moderation and harmony. Avocado, enjoyed in small, mindful portions, remains a valuable friend. The secret is not in the size of the serving, but in the wisdom of restraint. With that wisdom comes lighter digestion, steadier energy, and the freedom to savor each day with clarity and strength. After 65, the fats chosen each day can determine how easily the body moves, how clearly the mind thinks, and how strong the heart remains. Hidden trans fats, fried oils, processed meats, oversized handfuls of nuts, and too much avocado do more than add calories. They quietly inflame joints, stiffen arteries, and drain the energy needed for independence. The encouraging news is that every plate offers a choice, and small changes bring real results. Which of these foods do you notice most in your own meals? Share your experience below, and stay with us as we now turn to the nourishing fats that restore vitality and strength. Now, let's discover the very best healthy fat found in a food you already know well. Number 1. Coconut meat in its natural form. At 71, Margaret from Sarasota, Florida, thought her best days of energy were behind her. A retired librarian, she loved morning walks on the beach, but fatigue often forced her to stop halfway, leaving her discouraged. Instead of turning to supplements or energy drinks, she made one small change, adding 2 tablespoons of unsweetened shredded coconut to her oatmeal each morning. Within weeks, she noticed her steps felt lighter, her mind clearer, and her craving for sugary snacks almost disappeared. What seemed like a small adjustment became a turning point in her daily vitality. The science explains why her story is not unusual. Coconut meat is one of the most senior-friendly sources of fat because it is rich in medium-chain triglycerides, or MCTs. Unlike long-chain fats that linger in the bloodstream and strain digestion, MCTs bypass slow pathways and are converted directly into usable energy. For older adults, this means less heaviness after meals and more fuel for muscles and the brain. A study published in the Journal of Nutrition and Metabolic Health found that seniors consuming MCTs daily improved walking endurance by more than 20% in just 4 weeks. What sets coconut meat apart from extracted coconut oil is balance. Whole coconut carries not only fat, but also fiber, minerals, and natural antioxidants. Lauric acid, a unique compound in coconut, helps reduce harmful bacteria in the gut and lowers low-grade inflammation that often shows up as stiff knees or swollen ankles. This makes coconut meat both a source of energy and a gentle protector of digestion and joints. In practice, the key is moderation and timing. 2 to 3 tablespoons of raw or unsweetened dried coconut can be added to breakfast, sprinkled over oatmeal, blended into smoothies, or stirred into yogurt. Morning and midday are the best times to eat it, when the body needs quick, steady energy. Unlike processed snacks, this provides fuel without spikes and crashes. The larger lesson in Margaret's story is that powerful change often comes from simple choices. Coconut meat in its natural form is not just food, but a reminder that aging well does not require extremes. By choosing fats the body can truly use, strength returns, clarity sharpens, and even ordinary routines like a walk on the beach become moments of freedom and joy. Number 2, egg yolks. For years, the bright golden yolk sat at the center of debate in American kitchens. Health warnings from decades past painted it as dangerous, leading many older adults to discard it and keep only the white. Yet modern science tells a very different story. Far from being harmful, the yolk is one of nature's most concentrated sources of nourishment, especially for bodies over 65. Each yolk carries a wealth of healthy fats: vitamin D to strengthen bones, choline to sharpen memory and support nerves, lutein to protect vision, and omega-3 seconds to ease inflammation in joints and arteries. These nutrients do not arrive in isolation. They come packaged with natural emulsifiers that help aging digestion absorb them efficiently. A landmark study in nutrients found that seniors who ate whole eggs daily increased walking speed and leg strength by more than 20% in just 3 months. What was once believed to be harmful is now recognized as a natural tool for strength and clarity. The power of the yolk lies in its balance. 1 or 2 whole eggs, enjoyed a few times a week, can be transformative without overwhelming the body. Gentle preparation preserves its benefits: soft boiling, poaching, or light scrambling with fresh herbs. Pairing eggs with vegetables or whole grains creates a steady, nourishing meal. For some, a A light dinner of eggs in the evening has even been shown to improve overnight recovery and restore muscle energy by morning. Wisdom grows when old fears are replaced with new understanding. The egg yolk, once dismissed, has returned as a quiet ally for aging well. Choosing to welcome it back onto the plate is more than a dietary choice. It is a gesture of renewal, a reminder that strength and vitality can still be rebuilt through the simplest foods, prepared with care and enjoyed with gratitude. Number 3, fatty fish skin. On the dinner table, the skin of salmon or mackerel is often peeled away and left behind, treated as something unimportant. Yet for those over 65, that thin layer is one of the most powerful foods for joint comfort, muscle strength, and brain clarity. Inside the skin is a rare combination omega-3 fatty acids bound directly to collagen and elastin fibers. This pairing allows the body not only to absorb the fats, but also to deliver them straight to connective tissues, where stiffness and pain most often begin. Science confirms this. A study in Nutrients reported that older adults who ate fish with the skin intact experienced 32% less joint pain and significantly better mobility than those who ate the same fish without it. Unlike fish oil capsules, which can lose potency, the skin keeps omega-3 seconds stable and potent, protected by natural antioxidants like astaxanthin. This means the benefits reach the body as nature intended, fresh, intact, and effective. The impact can be seen in real lives. In coastal Maine, a 78-year-old fisherman who once tossed away fish skin began eating it crisped lightly on the grill, seasoned with lemon and herbs. Within weeks, he noticed his knees bending more easily and his hands less stiff during cold mornings. What seemed like a small change restored strength for his daily walks along the harbor and the joy of preparing fish the way his ancestors once did. Practical use is simple. Keeping the skin on salmon, mackerel, or trout and cooking it gently grilled, baked, or roasted preserves nutrients while adding flavor and texture. 2 servings a week, each about the size of a hand, are enough to bring measurable improvements. Avoid frying, which destroys delicate fats, and instead let the skin crisp naturally in the oven or on a hot pan. What was once thrown away can in fact be the very thing that sustains freedom of movement and independence. Choosing to eat fish skin is more than a nutritional decision. It is a symbol of valuing the whole gift of food, and with it, the chance to walk, to think clearly, and to live with vitality in every season of age. Number 4, extra virgin olive oil. In kitchens across the Mediterranean, olive oil is more than food. It is a daily ritual, drizzled over fresh bread, tossed with vegetables, or poured gently into a pan to begin a meal. For centuries, families in Italy, Greece, and Spain have relied on this golden oil, and science now shows why so many of their elders live well into their 90s with strength and clarity. For those over 65 in America, extra virgin olive oil can be one of the simplest, most powerful tools to protect the heart, soothe inflammation, and preserve independence. The benefits are striking. Olive oil is rich in monounsaturated fats and compounds called polyphenols, which act like natural shields for arteries and joints. A large study from Harvard, published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology, followed more than 90,000 adults and found that those who consumed just half a tablespoon of olive oil daily had a 19% lower risk of heart disease and significantly lower inflammation markers. For aging bodies, this means steadier circulation, less stiffness, and a mind that stays sharper for longer. The effects are not abstract. In Chicago, a 70-year-old retired nurse began replacing butter with olive oil at dinner. Instead of heavy cream sauces, she roasted vegetables with a light drizzle of oil and fresh herbs. Within months, her cholesterol dropped, her afternoon fatigue eased, and she felt more confident climbing stairs. The oil did not only change her meals, it changed her days. In practice, the key is quality and moderation. 1 to 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil daily is enough to bring benefits. Use it raw over salads, stirred into soups, or as a finishing touch on fish or beans. When cooking, keep the heat gentle to preserve its delicate compounds. Pairing it with colorful vegetables enhances absorption of fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K, giving the body the tools it needs to heal and thrive. Olive oil teaches that health does not always come from pills or treatments, but from daily choices made in the kitchen. By embracing this ancient oil, Every meal becomes a quiet investment in vitality, offering not just nourishment, but the promise of more mornings of movement, more evenings of laughter, and more years lived with independence and grace. Number 5, grass-fed beef fat. On a cold evening in the Midwest, a pot of stew simmering on the stove was once the heart of family gatherings. The tender beef, cooked slowly with its natural fat, provided not only comfort but strength. Today, science affirms what tradition long suggested. When the fat comes from grass-fed beef in its whole form, it can be a powerful ally for older adults seeking energy, balance, and resilience. Unlike heavily processed meats, the fat in grass-fed beef contains a high proportion of stearic acid, a unique saturated fat that does not raise cholesterol. Instead, it supports the mitochondria, the tiny power plants inside every muscle cell, helping them produce energy more efficiently. A 2022 study published in Metabolism, Clinical and Experimental, found that seniors who included stearic acid in their diets increased muscle energy production by 18%, even without changing exercise habits. For anyone over 65, this translates into steadier steps, greater stamina, and less midday fatigue. Grass-fed beef fat also contains conjugated linoleic acid, or CLA, which has been shown to reduce inflammation, support muscle repair, and target harmful belly fat that threatens stability and posture. Together, these compounds protect both strength and circulation, giving the body tools to stay active and independent. The story of Harold, a 76-year-old farmer from Nebraska, brings this to life. After years of avoiding red meat out of fear, he reintroduced small portions of grass-fed beef stew into his meals, cooked gently with root vegetables and herbs. Within weeks, he noticed less stiffness in his knees and more endurance during long walks across his fields. What he thought would weigh him down instead lifted him up, reminding him of the foods his parents once prepared. Practical use is straightforward. Choose unprocessed cuts of grass-fed beef such as short ribs, stew meat, or steak with its natural fat left intact. Cook slowly braised, baked, or stewed so the fat stays stable and nourishing. A portion the size of a palm, enjoyed 2 to 3 times per week, is enough to provide benefits without strain. Grass-fed beef fat, when eaten in moderation and prepared with care, offers more than nutrition. It offers continuity with the past, strength in the present, and hope for the future. Each meal becomes a bridge between heritage and vitality, proving that aging does not mean decline, but refinement and renewal. After 65, the truth is simple, yet life-changing. What we choose to put on our plates can shape the quality of the years ahead. The fats we eat are not just numbers on a label or calories to be counted. They are either quiet enemies that steal mobility, clarity, and confidence, or they are faithful allies that restore strength, energy, and joy. This is not theory. It is the lived reality of countless men and women who discovered, often too late, that just old age was really the result of harmful habits that could have been changed. But here is the great news. Change is always possible. We've seen how hidden trans fats in processed foods silently inflame the heart and cloud the mind, while fried oils stiffen arteries and weigh the body down. We've seen how processed meats bring comfort to the tongue but corrosion to the joints, and how even foods celebrated as healthy, like nuts or avocados, can cause fatigue when consumed without moderation. Yet in the very same kitchen, with the very same hands, transformation is possible. The switch from margarine to olive oil, from fried chicken to baked, from bacon to fresh fish, from handfuls of almonds to a mindful portion, these are not sacrifices. They are choices that restore freedom. Freedom to walk without pain, to laugh with grandchildren without losing breath, to rise in the morning without stiffness, to face each day with energy instead of resignation. The lesson is clear. Aging well is not about giving up the foods we love, but about choosing them with wisdom. It is about replacing what drains us with what sustains us. Coconut in its natural form, golden egg yolks, the skin of fatty fish, extra virgin olive oil, and the richness of grass-fed beef fat. All of these prove that the right fats can be healing, energizing, and deeply satisfying. They are not exotic, expensive, or unreachable. They are everyday foods, waiting to be used with care, portion, and purpose. And the bigger message is this: aging does not mean decline, it means refinement. It means learning from the past and stepping into the present with clarity. Every small adjustment in the kitchen is an act of self respect, an act of hope, and an act of love for ourselves and for those who want us here, strong and present, for many more years. So, as you step away from this video, I invite you to look at your next meal not as routine, but as an opportunity. An opportunity to trade heaviness for lightness, stiffness for mobility, fatigue for vitality. Ask yourself, which fats on my plate are holding me back and which ones can set me free? The answer to that question may be the difference between watching life pass by and stepping boldly into it with strength, clarity, and joy. Thank you so much for spending this time with us. If this message has given you value, please share it with someone you love. It may change their life too. And if you're new here or haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe now so you never miss the next video. We would love to hear your perspective, your experiences, and your wisdom in the comments below. Because together, by sharing and learning, we become stronger. From our hearts to yours, thank you for being here. May your days be filled with health, peace, and the priceless joy of living fully, because every moment in this precious stage of life is worth savoring.